Hi guys, I'm Camilla.
And I'm Sophia.
And we are Colourful Minds. Now today we just wanted to speak a little bit about the symptoms of borderline personality disorder, and specifically actually unstable relationships, which categorizes one of the categories of borderline personality disorder. Now, as you may or may not know from previous videos, Sophia has borderline personality disorder. Mm-hmm. And something that she highlighted to me was she looks at me as a maternal figure.
Help.
I love
her, that's my best friend.
No, so she said to me, I look at you as a maternal figure. And I was a bit like, oh, okay. Then I was like, oh. And when she explained it, I got it. So you should tell them how you explained it to me.
Okay, basically, everyone, when they think of someone, they have certain emotions that they attach to that person, or a certain memory. Well, the memory I've attached to Camilla is a point where I remember I was really down and depressed, really low, and she came over to the house and immediately she got me laughing again. Like, I was crying and laughing, and I remember she sat me down in between her legs and she started combing my hair and she parted it and she did 2 French braids coming down, and to be honest, that scenario is kind of like a mother and a child rather than
the nurturing side of a mother.
And that's literally what I took from it. I took from it like the emotions that erupted in me was like of the nurturing, caring, comforting, that maternal protective feel. That's the intent. That's the intent, and it was very intense. So obviously now I've latched that onto you, and so every time I think of you, that's how I see you.
Yeah. And I've told her before we had the diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, I've said to her, you do come off as dependent. And for me, because she's my real friend, she's my true friend, it's cool. It does get stressful sometimes. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and act like it doesn't. It does sometimes. But again, I worry for her because I don't want her to put that dependency onto someone that is going to neglect her or is going to take advantage of her. Now, as we all know, whether someone's an ill or something, they're suffering with a mental illness. But we know that generally there's people out there that are nasty individuals, and they will take the fact that Sophia has this and destroy her with it, and that's what I was scared about. So that was something that we highlighted from and early on that she was dependent,
and when the authorities got involved and the mental health teams and stuff like that, they actually they saw me as a vulnerable adult in that they even did whole reports of me and saw me as an at-risk because of how I perceived people and how I just jumped into relationships, and then it would get really intense really quickly.
And I said that is one of the stuff that they say someone with BPD they jump into things quickly, and then it has it's a train wreck when it comes to the end. Now Sophia is about to tell you guys a story. Just listen, guys. That's all I can say. Prepare yourself. Listen.
Well,
I've got 2 people in my life that tells me outrageous stories. She's one of them. Go.
You wasn't around at that time.
I wasn't. I wasn't in her life, but when she told me, I was like, what? People do that?
Well, I'd say this was my most damaging relationship. I was in college. I was around 17, 18. And I met this girl, really clicked with her, we became best friends really quickly, we literally spent every second together. I was always at her house, so she was at my house, went everywhere together, blah, blah, blah. So, we got really close, and then one day she said to me, oh, I've got a brother, and I think you two would really get on. And she showed me the picture of the most gorgeous guy I've ever seen in my life. And immediately I was like, introduce me.
At 18,
So, and then, she said, okay, I'll give him your number and get him to call you and stuff. So anyways, me and this guy started talking, we became quickly, very involved with each other. He became my everything, literally, I went to sleep with him on the phone and woke up to him on the phone. He knew me better than I knew myself.
And just to interject on that, not just the fact that Sophia has BPD, I think with anybody, this can happen to you. You know, when you speak to someone morning, evening, noon and night, and you know their ins and outs, they know your ins and outs, that person that you speak to and probably you've never seen can become more close than your friend that you've known for years because you see that friend off and on. Do you understand? So it's very easy to get caught up in situations like that. So I'm saying that because I don't want Sophia to feel like she was a fool for it, or for anybody out there listening to think, well, I've had situations like that and, you know, I don't classify them. It happens. It does happen. So don't take it as, okay, you must have BPD if you look at relationships like that.
It's how you deal with it. Things like this do happen. I mean, when I first coming to terms with it, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. This is something you see on Jerry Springer or something. This is not real life.
Let's get back to
So anyway, to continue. So yeah, this boy, you know, he became my everything, whatever. But, you know, he was one of the mandem.
Translation, people. Translations. Mandem. Boys, my dog, my dopes, the bro, okay? Man them meaning one of the guys that, you know, probably is not with the best of the crowd, and he kind of does things, illegal things, that are not, you know...
You know, everybody wants a bad guy, and that's what it was.
When you're young.
Yeah, when you're young.
Then you get older and you get wiser.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was perfect. It was a full package. But I remember every time we were supposed to meet up, there was always something, you know, oh, he has to do something for his friend, he's out of town, you know, he got into a fight, he got stabbed how many times? Sorry, it's ridiculous.
People getting stabbed is it's an epidemic. If you're in the UK, you know it's very, very serious. I've lost numerous family members to knife crime, and it's extremely serious. But when you're taking these things and you're getting stabbed every week, man just got stabbed last week, sorry, and it's just normal for you have to kind of laugh at that situation, like you're not okay. But,
so anyways, I remember there was even one time, like, he said he was in Luton on business and he got into a fight and he got stabbed and he was in hospital. I took every little penny I had. Remember, I'm in college, I'm a teenager, you know, I took every money I had to go to Luton to go see him in the hospital. Went to Luton, can't get through to him. So anyways, this carried on for over a year, and you know, things started not adding up, and I started, you know, I remember talking to another close friend of mine at the time, Davinia, and she said, you know, something is a little bit fishy.
This is where
then,
ping, Sophia came back to reality. Because as I've said to you in our previous video, one of the symptoms that is characterized by, borderline personality is characterized by, is fleeing from reality. So this was, in her bubble, she fled from reality.
Yeah, I mean, I had a perfect life, I had a perfect boyfriend, you know, whatever.
But then she came back to it real quick.
So then we got in touch with one of my best friend's friend, and she didn't like me, and because she didn't like me, I didn't really care for her either. Well, I actually sat down and talked to her and found out that she's supposed to be seeing Damien, which is my best friend's brother.
Her boyfriend.
Yeah, you see my boyfriend. So then, you know, I started thinking, like, what's going on? And then she's never met him either. So it's like, you know, this is a bit weird. Then my friend Davinia that I mentioned, she was working at JD Sports, I think it was, and a guy came in that she knew, and they started talking. Turns out that guy used to go to school with my best friend. I'm not gonna say her name. She went to school with my best friend, and he talked about an incident at school where she had to leave the school because she was pretending to be a boy.
Hold on. Let's recap. So, for anyone that has lost it and is a bit like, what? Right, let me summarize for you guys. So she has a best friend that she meets. She gets really close to them. Woo, they're best friends. Then the best friend says to her, I've got someone for you. Better yet, it's my brother. Now, as your best friend, you're going to trust your best friend because it's your best friend. Now, she starts talking to the brother over the phone. Never seen him. They start talking about the brother over the phone. They make, you know, arrangements to see each other. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
She even goes to Luton. Who does that? She goes to Luton. There's no brother. Then she starts coming back down to reality, like, actually, this is a bit weird. It's been a year and I haven't seen my so-called man.
Yeah.
Now she starts doing investigations. She investigates an old friend of her so-called best friend to find out, actually, I've been seeing your boyfriend before. I just didn't meet him though. Then they do more investigation. Then a guy says, actually, your best friend has done this before. And it came to pass that
it was her. Yeah, pretending to be a boy. So so then we all got together and decided we're going to confront her. So I tricked him to come into my house, and then, you know, everyone showed up and it was like, okay, what's happening here? So it's like, listen, we know what's been going on. All we want now is for you to tell the truth. And like, still, she was like, oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We took the phone from her. We went through the list. We saw that the phone was just filled with bare girl numbers. This was the Damien phone. And why does she have the Damien phone? You know, she's not Damien. Exactly. So anyways, so that was the first thing. And then finally she admitted, okay, it was her, but she had a brother who died and she kind of took on his personality.
This is what the best friend saying.
Yeah, that was her excuse. And I'm thinking, okay, I've always been very psychologically inclined, like when it comes to people, like trying to figure them out and what makes them tick and why do you do what you do and stuff like that. So, you know, this was intriguing for me. As much as I was hurting, I wanted to understand why she did this. So I said, okay, all right, fair enough, I understand that. But then I called her parents. Turned out she's never had a brother. So then she tried to say that it was a friend and he died and she felt responsible for the way he died, so she took on his personality. Again, this turned out to be a lie. So I could never get any truth as to why she did this or
plays
what.
on you, doesn't it?
It's still like, after you know, everything came out and we was confronted, I know Damien doesn't exist. I know this. But still, for days after that, I was still calling the Damien phone. Even though I had the Damien phone, I was still calling it because I needed to hear him. I needed to talk to him. I needed that connection back. Like, it literally felt like there was this massive hole in me that was she literally just ripped out a piece of me. That's how it felt. And then it wasn't just me that this was happening to, because in the Damien phone, as I said, there was a list of a lot of girl numbers. I called a few of them, found out they were dating Damien as well. And they've also, you know, I was duped, but
she was catfished.
Yeah,
I was. She was catfished, but the point being today.
The point is that, you know, in a situation like that, as I said, the other girls, there were many other girls that went through it as well. They got on with their lives, and I was like, oh, I knew something was fishy anyway, and they got over it. I couldn't. I was literally stuck in a rut. I couldn't let it go. I couldn't get over it because he was a part of me. I needed him, you know, like, again,
the dependency area.
And for him to be ripped out of my life like that, I regretted confronting her. I regretted finding out the truth, because like, the lie was just so much better and I wanted to go back to the lie. I was even tempted to give her back the phone. I mean, you know, this is a guy I shared everything with. We even had phone sex, you know. And then to turn out, I was doing all of this with my best friend, you know. So
it's difficult. And I mean, shortly after that, you had your breakdown.
Yeah, I had a massive breakdown. That was my first breakdown, actually.
Nervous breakdown,
yeah. And
I mean, today, I think, to what Sophia's saying to you guys is, just be, I mean, if you exhibiting certain things that you could see in yourself, or if you're a friend and your friends exhibiting certain things and you've said to your friends, because I've said to Sophia on plenty of occasions, because we have had lots of scenarios, and if we went and told you every scenario, we might as well make a movie. We're not going to do that. But if we did do that, there's certain type things, situations like you just can't put your all into it like that. And I know certain people, they do. Some people, you know, they wear their heart on their sleeves. I wear my heart on my sleeves. I'm like, oh, I love, away with the hippies. But at the end of the day, she was exhibiting certain things, then only to then have a nervous breakdown. I think we're trying to say is protect your heart in certain situations, and I know it's very, very difficult, but you know, if you feel that certain things aren't normal for you, before you're trying to put something and depend on to anybody else or put your all into someone else, please go and seek your help for yourself first and foremost, because I think in certain situations you knew that I need to stop feeling like this is not normal, but she was unaware she was unaware. She didn't know how to kind of, nobody wants to put a label on themselves and say, I'm not, this ain't right, and I don't look at relationships in the right way. I mean, now,
No, I mean,
us, we
we
still have issues.
Well, with us, like, the thing is, I never knew that, you know, this whole thing about, you know, unstable relationships, I didn't know anything about it. I just thought this is just how people behave, like, you know, but I realize now that the emotions I feel towards people can be a bit too intense, and it can get me in problems. Like, you know, my mental health team has had to draw up safeguarding, you know, because of relationships that I'd been in and stuff. So I know that now. But I don't know, like, going back to our relationship, talking about the unstable parts of it, you know, as we said, the part about me depending on her, that obviously is not very healthy. And also I do feel that, like, my expectations of her as well isn't very healthy, because even though at this point in time she is, like, literally my only friend, you know, she's not just my best friend, she's my only friend, and I do understand she has other friends and she has other people that she wants to go see and stuff like that, but it gets a bit hard for me to see her enjoying herself with someone else, because I'm like, you're supposed to be doing that with me, that's what we used to do, you know. And I'm an adult, I'm a grown woman, I should be able to be okay with her, you know, going off and having fun with other people, you know. But I guess it comes back to the whole BPD thing and the intense emotions and stuff like that, and that's something I have to work on. And yeah, and I'd say the same for anyone out there that's going through the same thing, and, like, you know, just being able to step back and look at a situation, like, from the outside, you know, that
it helps.
Yeah, it helps.
It does help. It does help. And just to be honest, friends, please be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest with your friends. I mean, she's been honest to the point where she's, you know, not thinking because, oh, I'm everything, thinking what, she doesn't help me in any way, I always help her. No, that's completely wrong. She helps me in a lot of ways, you know. She's made me identify things that is negative within myself and, you know, try to change. Like, you know, I've always been a people pleaser and I'm always trying to please people, and, you know, because she did have issues with times when I was unable to fulfill a promise, she'd highlighted to me, like, please just tell me if you can't do something. And, you know, that helps me. I was able to say to people, actually, maybe no, I can't do that today, that needs to be on another day. So she helps me, we help each other. Do you understand? Don't look at your friend if they've
a burden.
As a burden. I don't find her a burden, and I always say to her, stop thinking that, you know, you're burdening me if you call me and you got an issue. I want to know your issue. Your issue is my issue. Okay? So, you know, just be there for your friend, and, you know, you're gonna have some rocky times. And if you see something in your friend and you're like, that's really, like, it could be a bit classified as rocky or unstable, point it out. Say, you know, let's just be like, I see this and I don't know how to completely say if it's right or wrong, but I just think it's a little bit unhealthy. Do you understand? Because so many people get in relationships and, you know, their main focus is on, let's make it this and let's make that, and no relationship's perfect.
Everything takes work.
Everything takes work, and someone with BPD is gonna put extra work on themselves. Don't do it. All right? And you're not alone. And just love, be fluffy and love everything. Until next time.
Okay, catch you next week, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.